can you upgrade to a Tesla and save money? Let's find out. What's up everyone? I'm Brandon, or Be the Installer on my other channel for TV and home theater reviews. Here on Be the Consumer, I've gotten a lot of questions about the true cost of ownership of a Tesla, which I think could really help people when looking into buying an EV. So I want to do a deep dive into the exact costs that are associated with the car, the charging options, which make a big difference on how you charge and what electric plan you're on, and compared to our old situation, older car payments plus the gas we used, and do the math to see if it works out to make a change to an EV or not. So if that sounds good, please smash the like button when you find the video useful, subscribe to the channel, and set the notification bell to all so you'll be reminded when I upload a new video. And question for the day, are you considering an EV, Tesla, or any other brand, and what factors are most important when making this decision? Let me know in the comments. So I want to do a quick overview of our situation so you know where I'm coming from before I do the math. If you just want the hard numbers, you can skip ahead in the chapters, but the background should be quite helpful for anyone considering EV. We purchased a 2022 red Model Y Performance in March and have had it for almost 2 months now. We ordered it in late November 2021, which was before the latest surge in gas prices, and it took about 3.5 months for delivery. The Performance model seemed to have less demand or prioritized a little more, maybe both, so we're pretty happy with the process, and the timing couldn't have been better with the rise in gas prices. Before the Model Y Performance, we had a 2015 Toyota RAV4 Limited and a 2012 Ford F-150 FX4 that we split usage about down the middle. When I drove the kids to school each day, normally I just used my truck that only gets 14 miles per gallon, and my wife picked them up in the RAV4 that got about 23 miles per gallon. Then both of us would drive them to sports and little trips here and there. And later I will detail the miles driven, the cost of gas, and all that. But for us, it's been a lot since moving further out of town and driving 15 miles each way to get the kids to school. Add it all up and we drive on average 90 to 120 miles per day between the two cars. Initially, we just had the Tesla mobile charger, so 15 amps, 120 volt circuit in the garage, which only charges the Tesla 4 to 5 miles per hour. In addition, we just had a general time of use plan for SDG&E that was only a few pennies cheaper during the most off-peak times. Our initial plan was to see how that would work, and we knew that there were 2 Tesla superchargers relatively close to the house. Let's just say that didn't really work for us as we're only getting 40 to 50 miles per night charging in like 12 hours at a higher rate, and then we still had to go pay $15 to $20 to get it charged at a supercharger twice a week. So I located the 30 amp dryer outlet that was being used to route power to other outlets in the garage, hired an electrician to tie those other outlets back to another 20 amp in the garage, which left that 30 amp to be a dedicated circuit for the car. $450 installation charge, a NEMA 3014 adapter I bought off of Tesla's website for $50, and a $100 extension cord to get us to the back of the garage, and now I could charge about 20 miles per hour, which was much more in line with our needs. To get a faster rate of charge from the Tesla wall connector, we would need to run 6-gauge wire all the way around our house, and with only one EV and maxing at 150 miles per day or so, it was not worth the $200,000 or more cost of installation and wiring through the house to get that done. If your circuit breaker is near the garage, it's beneficial to get the largest adapter to make sure your car charges up each night in the best time frame. And I'll explain that shortly in detail for those who need to see the math like myself. The last thing I needed to do before crunching the numbers was to call up SDG&E and get us on one of the EV rate plans that offers discount to charge off-peak. We had 2 options. One is the EV2, which offers some benefit for EV charging, but it's not as aggressive as the EV5. The EV5 has a $16 maintenance fee, but offers 75% discount on off-peak from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m., where the EV2 doesn't have a fee but only offers a 50% savings. The rep said that if you drive 650 miles per month, it's worth it to get the EV5, but I'm not sure that math checks out. I feel like it's just better to go aggressive and get the cheapest rate at night, understanding that this car is now pulling the same watts as 50 100-watt light bulbs. So it's the priority when talking about electrical costs. And because we've put 3,500 miles on the car in a month and a half, which won't change while living here, the EV5 plan with the most benefit is best for us. And if you did the math quickly in your head, charge 20 miles per hour times the 6 hours that account for off-peak, that only allows for 120 miles of charge during that time. So sometimes there's going to be charging from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., which is 4 times more expensive than the off-peak price. This is where the 50 amp circuit would come in handy for even more driving or if you have 2 cars to charge. So with all that out of the way, let's look into the costs of gas versus electric and how they compare for us and if it makes sense to buy a Tesla. First, let me do the math on the gas cars. We only had one monthly payment, which was roughly $400 on the RAV4. The truck is paid off, but has over 125,000 miles, so it's starting to need some occasional work. I won't add in maintenance because it's tough to nail down month to month, but let's assume that there's probably some added costs with 2 cars that are over 6 years old. But the gas is why we're ready to make the move, and it's just gotten worse since November. If we drove the same 3,500 miles with the 2 cars split in half, 50 on each car, with the high gas price of $5.50 per gallon in California, it would cost $687.50 for the truck and $418.50 for the RAV4, totaling $1,106 in gas for 6 weeks. That's strictly based on the mileage and doesn't account for idle time when we're stuck in traffic or at the kids' practices. So it's the minimal cost for running 2 cars for 6 weeks. Averaging it out, it's $737 per month in gas. This is a lot of gas because we drive a lot, and in California, the gas is expensive. So sub in your gas prices if it's not $5.50 per gallon on average, but to be honest, most of the time out here it's even more than that, around $6 per gallon. When you add in the RAV4 monthly payment of $400, you're at $1,137 per month for us to have these 2 cars and drive them. And you really should add in another $50 per month in oil changes that are happening pretty often, but again, the red Tesla sports car made my insurance go up $50 per month, so I'm just going to call those a wash and move on. So in order for the Tesla to be worth it cost-wise, it needs to be under $1,137 per month. And first order of business, the high monthly car payment that you'll be taking on. So the Model Y Performance with the red paint, an extra $2,000, probably should have just gotten the white and then got it wrapped, something to think about, and 21-inch rims, no tow hitch, no full self-driving, and I'll definitely be making a video on FSD versus the autopilot, so subscribe if you want to see the progress Tesla's making on that. And if you put in the down payment $4,500 that they have in the loan calculator, the car payment is only $1,022 per month. Yikes. However, we did trade in the RAV4 and got a nice offer. So our down payment was higher and our payment is roughly $900 per month. Doing the math, $1,137 minus $900 means that it must cost us less than $237 per month to charge a car in order for it to be less expensive than our previous setup. This is where the math can get complicated, but there's a lot of resources online about this, and I'll try to link some in the description and visualize the math on screen a bit. But the speed you charge and the rate plan matters when considering the costs. If we only had the 120-volt charger, you can only get 1.4 kilowatts per hour, meaning it would take about 52 hours to charge the 75 kilowatt battery from empty to full. And we are using 40 to 50% of the battery per day, so there isn't 26 hours in a day to make that work. And because that isn't possible, we'd be at a supercharger twice a week. A typical supercharge in California is like 15 to 25 bucks per charge. So within a week, I realized it wasn't going to be time or cost effective. Charging at a slow rate, costing 46 cents per kilowatt hour, charging 10 hours a day only to get 25% charge, still costing $660 per day and needing to pay $30 to $40 a week at a supercharger, for a total of $338 per month in electricity. So getting the 30 amp 240 volt level 2 charger was key, as well as getting the time of use EV5 plan from SDG&E to minimize our off-peak rates even with the $16 monthly fee. In the last 30 days, I'm averaging about 31 kilowatt hours charged per day. Again, you can look this up, but a 30 amp 240 volt adapter will charge at 80% or 24 amps continuous times the 240 volts, which equates to 5.76 kilowatt hours, or exactly 4 times what the 120 volt adapter would do. And this will charge the Model Y Performance about 20 miles each hour. Again, 20 miles per hour times 6 hours for off-peak gives you 120 miles where you can charge, or 34.5 kilowatts before I run out of time at 6 a.m. and get into those mid-peak costs. That's almost 4 times the price. This doesn't happen very often, as you can see, and only 8% of my charging is in that mid-peak time. But this does mean that 8% of the time it's costing me nearly 4x the price, so I'm paying an extra 24% to charge with a 30 amp circuit. This is where it would benefit me to have the NEMA 5014, but again, the construction costs and damage to the home of running thicker gauge wire would not be worth it for us. And because we're now on that EV5 plan, it's only 10 cents per kilowatt hour off peak. So charging those 6 hours at night is only $3.45 per day. As you can see, it's better to be able to charge 50% of the battery for $3.45 per day in 6 hours versus 25% of the battery at $6.60 in 10 hours, plus still having to supercharge when needed. So it's clearly worth it doing some digging and seeing if getting a level 2 charger and better rate plans are possible for you. If you look at the exact cost to charge the car, you can see I'm at $115 for the last 31 days, and if you add in the $900 car payment, we're now paying $1,015 and saving $120 per month over the RAV4 and driving the truck by that math. Of course, I should add in the fee of the charger upgrade, so $100, $45 for the NEMA charger, and $450 for the installation, which is about $8 per month over the course of the loan, and the $16 per month fee from SDG&E, which means we're still saving $96 per month to drive our brand new Model Y Performance. But the reality is that the benefit of having the new time of use EV plan goes beyond the Tesla itself. We had been paying about 46 cents per kilowatt hours at all times before the Tesla. But after the switch, the off-peak time went down to 10 cents, while the mid-peak to 38 cents, and even the on-peak is 43 cents. So from 4 to 9 p.m. we're paying a similar amount, and in the fall it'll be even a little higher. But all other times, we're getting a discount that covers the cost of charging, since 92% of the charging is done in that super off-peak time frame, and all of our other use has also been discounted. So adding a Tesla to our life is actually costing us less on our electric bill. Pretty cool. And we don't even have solar. If you have solar, you have to do the math a bit differently, as there's no sun at night, but most people net a positive on energy and charge for free. Or if you have a battery pack at home, you'll most definitely be able to transfer that energy to the car at night. Those come with additional initial costs, and if you're interested in checking out Tesla Solar, click on my loot box link in the description that helps support the channel. But here's the bottom line. Buying a Tesla is just not a cut and dry savings. You're buying an expensive car. If you have another car paid off, then you're looking at transferring some of your gas costs to a cleaner and likely better car. That in itself can be quite satisfying. No more stops for gas, but you will have a large monthly car payment. So unless you're driving like 200 miles per day, it's going to be hard to make the math work to say that you will straight up save money to buy a Tesla. But if you're considering buying a new gas-powered car, definitely consider how this math will work, and if you still want to be stopping in at a gas station once or twice per week with these gas prices. We looked at it from the perspective of getting a new car, an incredibly fast and cool looking Model Y Performance. 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, always fun, and we'll never have to stop at a gas station unless we need some snacks. So it was a major upgrade. We feel better about how it affects the environment, and doing the hard math, it's going to save us over $250 per month because our old car payment is gone, 95% of the driving is now done with the Tesla, and our electric bill is now lower because we're on an EV plan. That makes sense to us, and I hope this helps in deciding if an EV is right for you. I'd love to hear more about your decision-making process. Have you considered buying a Tesla? And what, if anything, is stopping you? Please comment below. Please make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and set the notification bell to all. And here's a couple other videos to check out right now.